Welcome to this week's edition of the Advocates Footy Wrap, joined by Brad Cole, and also we've got special guest Clint Proctor, the coach of the Bernie Dockers TSL team. Welcome, Clint, to the show.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. Mate, a couple of questions for you today. Obviously, how are you fitting in with the Dockers? You've had a pretty good start to the year, and you come from Victoria, obviously. How are you liking it there early doors?
Yeah, no, it's been a really good start. We're 2-1. Everyone's been terrific, really looked after me, welcomed me to, obviously Bernie, and I've got no complaints at the moment, so things are going well.
What are your early impressions of the standard of the competition? Because you played at a pretty high level in the VFL and in various competitions over there. How does it shape up?
Yeah, well, obviously coming from the VFL, that's a fairly elite standard of football, but look, from the TSL, professionalism-wise, it's on the same level, that's for sure, and the way obviously the coaches structure their teams up. There's some similarities there. Obviously with the depth of people, it doesn't quite have the standard that the VFL has. But look, having said that, we've played some really tough and quick games of footy, and it's probably in my opinion, I would think I come from the Geelong League where I played last 2 seasons. It'd be a little bit just a bit above that, and obviously back from the VFL a little bit. Yeah.
And early impressions of players that have really stood out in your eyes so far, both at your club and the opposition players?
Well, the young fella Whitford really impressed me against North Launceston. He was we just couldn't catch him. He was just too good. He had a superb game, so he's impressed me. Look, obviously, I've been looking after our boys for a little while, so there's Kate Mondays and Harry Walters, very good player. So those 2 guys have been standing out. And then obviously we come up against Mitch Thorpe in round 1, and Mitch has got a terrific reputation in football. So he's a terrific player down here too.
Tell us a little bit about Romain Grenville. You brought him over, and he flies in for games and that sort of thing. So he's, from early reports, does the few flashy things on the field. Yeah. It's pretty good to watch. So how's he fitting in?
Yeah, Romain's really good. I identified Romain as a guy that could adapt to flying in and flying out, because it's not an easy task for anyone to do, let alone perform and fit into the culture and what you want to achieve at the club. So he's been outstanding with the way he's contributed on and off the field. I will say, he was here at the function on Saturday night, stayed back with all the players. He's associated with all the sponsors, supporters and fans, and been a bit of an icon as well. So, I'd like to think he'll be on for obviously this year and next, and we'll just work in with him with regards to his travel load and things like that, how we monitor it. We'll just take it, I guess, week by week.
Yep. And what do you think of West Park? have you worked out the ideal game plan for West Park? Have you had to ask like a Brett Plant or Andrew Herring, okay, how do you play this tricky little ground?
We'll just flood one end and then just go slingshot the next. So no, it's really it is a unique ground, and sort of reminds me a little bit of Williamstown, where I played a fair bit of football, especially growing up. Williamstown was on the Point Jelly ground there. Windy and wet, and freezing cold. And every time I come down to West Park, people have been like, you've never seen anything like it, champ. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure I have. I played at Williamstown and Frankston as well, mind you. So I haven't been fussed or fazed by it at all. So hopefully it works in our favour.
Yep.
Just a final one for you. The expectations of the season. I spoke to you a couple of weeks back, and you said you'd sort of look at where you guys were at after 5 rounds and assess where the season is going and where you might be able to get to. You're 2-1 now with a chance to go 3-1 this weekend. So how's it looking at the moment?
Yeah, well, look, after round 5 is what the players and I have agreed to assess from there. We've got obviously Launceston and Clarence, which we think are winnable games. So hopefully, if we can turn it 4-1, then dare I say, we should be really setting ourselves on playing finals with there. So maybe that's a smart move to give myself some breathing space early, probably. But I think that obviously Launceston this week, they're hit by a few injuries, and the brand of footy we're playing, I expect the boys to put on a decent performance, and hopefully get the win, and then from there come back at home. Well, we should always be hard to beat here. So yeah, you know, fingers crossed things go well and we don't lose too many injuries or suspensions, and we can turn 4-1 and assess from there.
And just had a closer look at those games. Brad, you'll be heading down to Windsor Park to have a look at that one. Lonnie and Bernie on Sunday this week, not Anzac Day. They're playing Sunday down there. So yeah, how do you see that one go?
I think look, Devonport easily accounted for Launceston there last week. So not that I rate Bernie a better team than Devonport at the moment. So I think Bernie should get the chocolates. And as Clint said, they're just a bit overrun with injuries at the moment, Launceston. So I think they're ripe for the picking at the moment. But still got some dangerous players they've got need to respect.
I agree. I think Burnie will win that one. The other game involving a coastal team this weekend is Devonport. They're taking on Hobart City Demons at Devonport on Anzac Day, and this is a 12:30 kickoff for this one. Interesting game, but I suppose you'd say Devonport may go in favourites with the home ground.
Yeah, I think so. Last year's Devonport played really well at home, and Hobart have got to make a long trip up. I think Devonport just got a bit too much class over the park just and they'll handle Hobart City. You know, a 4 or 5 goal game, I would have thought.
What do you think, Clint? You've come up against Devonport. They were good early, and then you touched them up. So yeah, how do you see that one going? Yeah,
look, I actually watched Hobart City down when we were on a camp in Hobart, and I was quite impressed by them. I thought they moved the footy quite well. So, but having said that, you know, I haven't played against them physically, or seen them, right out there in the action. So it's going to be a tough one to choose. But if I was going, I'd go Hobart City.
Okay. Right, serious stuff out of the way now. We've got a couple of more relaxed sort of questions. Brad, you're going to kick us off.
Right out. What player at training gives you the most grief? Who do you're struggling to get a handle on at the moment?
Well, it's either Jason Laycock or Brenton Middleton. That's for sure.
Why is that, mate? What is it that they do that?
Big smooth and just runs his own race when he just runs the show.
Yeah, Jace just, Jace, unique character and a champion bloke. I will point out, but we're just working with Jace. How he's feeling, what he's going. I mean, he's got some battle scars there with his knees and whatnot. So, and then the other one, well, probably Brenton. Sometimes Milva, I love him to death, but yeah, he gets his aspirations mixed up, sometimes with his ability. That's all right.
He'll love watching.
No, I know he'll stitch me up for this one, but look, it's fair to say, Milva, I've just got to keep him in check every now and then, make sure he don't get ahead of himself too far.
And mate, I understand you might have a bit of a shout out. There was a one player in particular that looked after you when you got here, and you didn't have anywhere to stay. So who was that person?
Yeah, no, I'd have to say thanks to Darren Banham. He did help me out heaps, as I come down here. No home, no car on stage for a little bit, so I was literally stuck down here at West Park. So he gave me a bed up there, and they called it the sunroom because the sun used to come through at about 6 o'clock every morning. So I certainly didn't get any sleep-ins, that's for sure.
No, dear.
Well, mate, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I hope you've had a bit of fun, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks. Righto, Brad, turning our attention to the NWFL now this week. We apologise in advance for the noise. They're just doing some renovations here at the moment on the ground.
Yeah, all good.
Smithton and East Devonport, the first game we'll look at this week. Anzac Day, 6 o'clock game, under lights. Brad, you were here last week to see East win their first game in goodness knows how long. How was that?
Look, it would be fair to say that the game itself wasn't of a high standard. The wind had a fair bit to do with that. It was a woeful day at West Park with wind. But East, said first half, second half East were a lot better, I felt, and look, they ran away with the game in the last quarter, kicking against the Brews. So that was a really good sign that Dale's got them fit, and they can run out games. Now their next challenge is to play more consistently against the better teams, and I think Smithton are a slightly better team than Burnie, plus the trip up to Circular Head as well. So look, they're going to have their work cut out. I think Smithton are probably a 3 or 4 goal better team up at home. But look, there's no reason why they can't get a second win in a row, and I think they've got the belief now that they can do it.
And obviously the next game, Burnie and Latrobe, that's out at Latrobe. You'd think it'd be a pretty clear-cut result. A really big win for Latrobe last week to get over Penguin.
Yep.
I thought Penguin probably the big improvers this year, but how do you see that?
Look, after watching Burnie here, look, it's all about development for them in their first year, and Andrew Bacon, he just hasn't got the senior cattle to really make his team a consistent four-quarter performers this year. So look, I think Latrobe, this could be over 100 points quite easily. I think this margin.
Devonport and Wynyard. I saw Devonport play against Ulverston last week. Good in patches, but ultimately went down by 70 points. You wouldn't think that'd be too much of a match for Wynyard. Just rampaging at the moment.
Yeah.
I can't see him getting beaten again.
Nah, look, I talked to Zane Murphy yesterday, and look, he's fit and firing, and a fit and firing Zane Murphy, I don't think there's any player in the competition that can stop him. So
he gives those don't argues and just waltzes his way through.
Nah, look, he's in career best form. Oh, probably not career best form, but NWFL best form. And look, they've just too many match winners over the ground for Wynyard, so I think they'll easily account for Devonport.
I agree, mate. And the final game, which is always one that's pretty anticipated, Anzac Day, traditional, Central Coast Derby, Penguin, Ulverston. Usually a bit of fire in these ones as well, mate.
Yeah, no, look, I think from all reports, Penguin brought a little bit of fire last week to the game against Latrobe. Ulverston still getting some good players back. Vinny Ponsby, I think, really started on debut. 6 goals in his first game back for a couple of years, so great for him.
Yeah,
I think Travis Davies is due back pretty soon as well, so he might slot back in this week. I think Ulverston they're going to certainly get better as the season goes on. I think they may just have a little too much class over the ground for Penguin this game.
Bit close. I'm going Penguin. The confines of Pertec Oval might just tip it in their favour, but it will be a close one. So stay tuned for that. And Brad, that's about all for this week.
It is a good call, bad call. Just out of time this week, but we don't want to drag you away too long for what you have to do. And our poor old photographer Grant here, he's got another job to go do. So look, we'll come back with a bigger and better good call, bad call next week, people, and look forward to really tackling footy's big issues there.
We'll see you then.